From designer handbags to handcuffs, these Real Housewives are facing serious legal consequences in 2026. Federal fraud charges, insurance scams, DUI arrests, and felony theft have turned their glamorous lives upside down. Some could spend years behind bars. This is the reality behind the reality TV, and it's darker than anyone imagined. The Real Housewives franchise has always thrived on drama. But lately, the storylines playing out in actual courtrooms are far more shocking than anything shown on Bravo. As we move through 2026, multiple housewives are staring down the possibility of serious prison time for crimes ranging from fraud to theft. The cameras captured their lavish lifestyles, but law enforcement is now documenting something very different. These women went from reunion stages to courtrooms, i.e. from confessionals to actual criminal confessions. What started as entertainment has become a true crime documentary playing out in real time. Erika Jayne currently faces the most significant legal battle of any active Real Housewife. On February 10, 2026, she's scheduled to go to trial in a lawsuit brought by the bankruptcy trustee overseeing her estranged husband, Tom Girardi's defunct law firm. The trustee is seeking to recover over $25 million that allegedly went to Erika's company EJ Global between 2008 and 2020. This isn't just about money, it's about whether Erika knowingly benefited from funds stolen from vulnerable victims, including burn victims, widows, orphans, and families of plane crash victims. Tom Girardi was convicted of wire fraud in August 2024 and sentenced to 87 months in federal prison in June 2025. He's currently serving that sentence for embezzling at least $15 million from his former clients. The government argued that a key piece of his criminal scheme involved misappropriating funds to support his and Erika's extravagant lifestyle. While Erika wasn't charged criminally and wasn't called as a witness at Tom's trial, the civil lawsuit against her is moving forward with devastating potential consequences. The trustee's lawsuit claims that over $14 million in American Express charges were made by Erika on cards issued directly to her. Another $11 million or so went to vendor payments made exclusively for her benefit. The expenses consisted largely of costs to promote Erika personally, funding her aspirations as a pop star and reality television personality. Her glam squad, designer clothes, music videos, and everything required to maintain her expensive-to-be-me lifestyle allegedly came from money that should have gone to Tom's clients. What makes Erika's situation particularly precarious is that settlement talks completely broke down at the end of 2025. Attorney Ronald Richards, who has been closely following the case, announced in late December that negotiations had collapsed. He stated that Erika has little options and that panic should be setting in. A pre-trial conference is scheduled for January 21, 2026, with the trial beginning on February 10th. The trial is expected to last between 7 to 10 days, with both Erika and the trustee testifying along with expert witnesses. If Erika loses this trial, she could be forced to pay back the entire $25 million. On top of that, she's also being sued by designer Christopher Sala for $18 million for allegedly falsely accusing him and his company, Marco, of making fraudulent charges totaling nearly $800,000 on her American Express card. She lost her appeal in that case in October 2025, and it's moving forward. There's also a designer lawsuit in Florida where she faces a $300,000 default judgment. Between these three cases, Erika could theoretically owe over $43 million if all the plaintiffs prevail. Erika's attorney maintains she never worked at Tom's law firm, never received even a penny from the transactions at issue, and her biggest mistake was trusting her husband. But the trustee argues she knowingly and willingly participated in the scheme, signing or authorizing every charge made on the American Express accounts and approving all vendor payments. They claim she knew she had no ability to actually pay for any of it. The jury will have to decide whether Erika was a clueless spouse or a willing participant in a massive fraud. While Erika won't face criminal charges from this civil trial, losing could financially destroy her. She'd likely have to declare bankruptcy herself, lose any remaining assets, and potentially see her wages garnished for years, trying to pay back the judgment. Her entire career, her lifestyle, her ability to continue on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, everything hangs in the balance. The woman who sang about how expensive it is to be her might end up with absolutely nothing. Wendy Osifo and her husband Eddie are facing the most serious criminal charges of any current Real Housewives cast member. The couple was arrested on October 9, 2025, and charged with fraud related to allegedly filing a false burglary report. Wendy faces 16 charges, while Eddie faces 18 charges, with 7 of Wendy's charges being felonies. If convicted on all counts, they could both face significant prison time. The case stems from an alleged burglary reported on April 7, 2024, at their home in Finksburg, Maryland. The Osifos told deputies they'd just returned from vacation in Jamaica to find their home had been burglarized. They claimed that jewelry, luxury goods, clothing, and shoes totaling more than $200,000 were stolen from their bedroom and closets. They specifically reported that $450,000 worth of designer handbags and jewelry had been taken by thieves who ransacked their home. But investigators found major problems with their story. Detectives discovered that the Osifos had returned roughly $20,000 worth of the allegedly stolen items to stores where they'd purchased them before the burglary supposedly occurred. Even more damning, detectives found images of Wendy wearing jewelry that had been reported stolen after the alleged burglary took place. One photo showed her on social media wearing a diamond ring she'd claimed was taken by burglars. The evidence suggested the couple had filed a fraudulent insurance claim, trying to get paid for items they either still had or had already returned to stores. And prosecutors have revealed even more troubling details about the Osifos' finances. At a contentious hearing in December 2025, prosecutor Melissa Hawkinsmith told the court that the couple actually has very little money despite their appearance of wealth on television. An investigation revealed they are burdened by substantial debt. Prosecutors claimed the Osifos have approximately 40 credit or debit cards, some of which are believed to be in company names. They've also allegedly used aliases including Pam Oliver and Eddie Hennessy in what prosecutors called a deliberate attempt to mask their identity. The Osifos are fighting the charges and attempting to quash subpoenas for 8 years' worth of their personal and business financial records. Their attorneys argue the records are private and confidential, but prosecutors say they need the documentation, most of which they've already received from the Osifos banks, because the public has an interest in these crimes and ensuring justice is done. The case is revealing what prosecutors believe is a pattern of financial deception far beyond just the alleged fake burglary. Wendy and Eddie are scheduled to face trial in April 2026. If convicted on the felony charges, they could both go to prison. This would be particularly devastating for Wendy, who has built her entire brand around being a highly educated professional with multiple degrees. She appeared at BravoCon 2025 and addressed the allegations by saying it's an unfortunate situation, and she can't say too much right now. She claimed they're just allegations and she'll share her story when the time is right. Prosecutors clearly believe they have solid evidence of fraud, and the couple's financial records may reveal even more alleged wrongdoing. Mia Thornton became the third Real Housewives of Potomac star to be arrested in 2025, facing felony theft charges that could send her to prison in 2026. The former housewife was arrested on November 19, 2025, at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport after police responded to a wanted person call. She was booked into Fulton County Jail on charges of felony theft by taking in connection with an alleged furniture theft worth over $11,000. According to police reports, Mia had been renting a furnished luxury condo in Atlanta that she vacated on October 28, 2025. The condo owner, who lives overseas, had filed a police report through a property manager claiming that Mia and a man identified as Jared McGriff, her roommate and ex-boyfriend, suddenly moved out in the middle of the night and took all the furniture. The items allegedly stolen included a television, dining room table, 7 dining room chairs, 2 accent chairs, radios, DVD players, and other goods. The condo was a 2,000 square foot unit with 3 bedrooms and 3 baths that rented for approximately $7,000 per month. Body camera footage captured Mia's emotional arrest at the airport. In the video, she's seen crying and asking officers if she could make a phone call to someone who allegedly has the key to a storage unit where the furniture is located. She told officers she just wanted to put the furniture back and that she'd sent several emails requesting the return of the items. She vented her frustration, saying enough is enough and referencing her roommate. The footage shows she was aware there was a warrant out for her arrest before officers detained her. Mia was released on $2,500 bond and waived her first court appearance. Under Georgia law, theft by taking is classified as a felony when the value of stolen property exceeds $1,500. With the furniture valued at $11,000, Mia faces serious charges that could result in prison time if she's convicted. She broke her silence on November 25, 2025, posting cryptic messages on Instagram celebrating her 41st birthday. She wrote about choosing composure over chaos and grace over noise, suggesting she's maintaining her innocence and dignity through the ordeal. What makes Mia's case particularly interesting is that she just relocated to Atlanta after announcing in April 2025 that she was leaving Real Housewives of Potomac after 4 seasons. She'd posted on social media about how this next chapter was full of exciting opportunities, and she couldn't wait to take everyone along for the ride. Big things were supposed to be coming. Instead, her fresh start in Atlanta ended with an airport arrest and felony charges. If convicted, she could face years in prison and her reality television career would be effectively over. Karen Huger, known as the Grand Dame of Potomac, has already served time in 2025, and her legal troubles continue into 2026. Karen was involved in a car accident on March 24, 2024. That led to her being charged with DUI, DWI, negligently driving a vehicle in a careless and imprudent manner, endangering property, life, and person, and recklessly driving a vehicle. She was found guilty in December 2024 on all charges, except for reckless driving. In February 2025, Karen was sentenced to 1 year in jail after initially facing 2 years behind bars. The judge took into account that this wasn't her first DUI offense. Court records revealed that Karen had 3 previous drunk driving offenses on her record, which influenced the sentencing decision. She served approximately 6 months at a Maryland prison before being released early in September 2025 for good behavior. While Karen has completed her jail sentence, she remains on probation and under supervised release through 2026. Now, any violation of her probation terms could send her back to prison. She's also dealing with the professional fallout from her conviction. Season 10 of Real Housewives of Potomac filmed without her while she was incarcerated. Though she's appeared at BravoCon and other events since her release, her future on the show remains uncertain. Bravo has shown willingness to keep housewives who've served time, as evidenced by Teresa Giudice's continued role on RHONJ after her prison sentence. But Karen's situation is complicated by the fact that she had multiple prior DUI offenses, and her absence affected an entire season of filming. The DUI conviction also raises questions about Karen's judgment and accountability. Driving under the influence, especially for someone with prior offenses, shows a pattern of behavior that endangered not just her own life, but the lives of everyone else on the road. While fans love Karen's personality and her role as the Grande Dame, there's no denying that her actions had serious consequences. She's lucky no one was seriously injured or killed in the accident. As she navigates her supervised release in 2026, Karen will need to prove she's learned from her mistakes and changed her behavior. These 5 women represent a disturbing trend within the Real Housewives franchise. What started as a show about wealthy women living glamorous lives has increasingly become a showcase for criminal behavior and legal consequences. Erika Jayne is fighting to avoid financial ruin over money allegedly stolen from victims. Wendy and Eddie Osefo are facing felony fraud charges for allegedly faking a burglary. Mia Thornton is dealing with felony theft charges over furniture. Karen Huger served jail time for repeat DUI offenses. The common thread is that fame and fortune couldn't protect them from the law. What's particularly striking is how many of these cases involve allegations of fraud and deception. Multiple housewives are accused of lying to insurance companies, stealing from victims, or misrepresenting their finances. The pressure to maintain an expensive lifestyle for the cameras seems to have pushed some women into illegal territory. When you're constantly competing with castmates to show off wealth and success, it becomes tempting to fake it until you make it. But faking it sometimes means committing crimes, and the consequences are severe. The question for Bravo and the entire Real Housewives franchise is how much criminality they're willing to tolerate. The network has kept Teresa Giudice on after she served 11 months in prison for fraud. They've continued filming with Erika Jayne despite all her legal troubles. But at what point does the franchise become less about entertainment and more about documenting criminal enterprises? When does keeping controversial housewives cross the line from good television to glorifying illegal behavior? As we move through 2026, all eyes will be on these legal cases. Erica's trial in February will determine whether she owes $25 million to Tom Girardi's victims. Wendy and Eddie's trial in April will decide if they go to prison for fraud. Mia's case will work its way through the Georgia court system. Karen will navigate her probation and try to rebuild her reputation. These aren't just storylines for entertainment. These are real legal battles with life-changing consequences for everyone involved. The glamorous world of Real Housewives has a dark side that's impossible to ignore in 2026. From multi-million-dollar fraud trials to felony theft charges, these women are facing serious prison time. The cameras captured their rise, and now they're documenting their fall. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates.